and welcome to this special edition of Dateline Abuja. It's really glad to have you join us on the program. I am Kumbi Aboluade. We've got a lot to unpack for you today as regards controversies surrounding land development in the FCT. But before we get right into it, let's update you with some of the top stories that happened during the week, just in case you missed it.
The federal government has urged West African leaders to push for the designation of resources theft, illegal mining and mineral smuggling as international crimes. The Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Mr. George Akume, made the call in Abuja during the 7th Annual General Assembly of the Network of National Anti-Corruption Institutions in West Africa at ECOWAS Commission in Abuja. The network is an anti-corruption network made up of ECOWAS members countries, chaired by the chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. The Minister of Solid Minerals Development has advised the federal government to shut down schools operating in Nigeria and charging in dollars and other foreign currencies. Speaking during the second day of the 10th Nigerian Mining Week in Abuja, Mr. Alake expressed his displeasure over the situation, stating that such activities poses threats to Nigeria's economy. He also discloses that the Gold to Naira initiative currently ongoing under his administration aims to reposition the sector and boost the nation's economy. Meanwhile, at the National Assembly, the Senate confirmed the appointment of Professor Joash Amukbiton as the new chairman of the Independent National Election Commission (INEC), following an extensive screening session during plenary. Professor Amukbiton's confirmation came after over 2 hours of questioning by senators who pressed him on how he plans to restore credibility to Nigeria's electoral process and implement meaningful reforms within the commission. The 58-year-old professor of law becomes the 6th substantive chairman of INEC, succeeding Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, who has officially concluded his tenure. The presidential candidate for the Labour Party in the 2023 election, Mr. Peter Obi, says the newly nominated chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) owes Nigerians a duty to conduct free, fair and credible elections in 2027. Mr. Peter Obi stated this when he visited the early primary school in Kapwa Lugbe in the company of the chairmanship candidate of the African Democratic Congress for Abuja Municipal Area Council in the forthcoming Area Council elections in the Federal Capital Territory, Mr. Moses Paul. He laments the deplorable infrastructure and education across the country, stating that it has contributed significantly to the new World Bank figures on poverty in Nigeria.
Basic education, which is what we're doing here, is the most critical foundation of education. If you have it, you have everything. That's why I'm more worried when I see our young ones being trained in an unconducive environment. Because this is the most critical part of education.
Meanwhile, the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Mr. Nyesom Wike, says the presidential candidate of the Labour Party in the last elections, Mr. Peter Obi, is playing politics with every issue because of the 2027 elections. Mr. Wike, who spoke at the commissioning of the ILS Mabushi District Road, expressed displeasure over Mr. Peter Obi's comment after visiting a primary school in the Kapwa area of Lugbe in the FCT, asserting that development can only happen in phases.
It is not everything you must play politics. But let me say this. Peter Obi, you were governor for 8 years in Anambra State. If you have finished all the jobs in 8 years, nobody will be talking about developing Anambra by now. 8 years. Instead of developing Anambra, you took the money and put in the bank you have interest, Fidelity Bank.
Also, Mr. Nyesom Wike has urged residents in the FCT to shun the use of social media to criticize the government. Mr. Wike stated this while flagging off the construction of collector roads in the Du district of the nation's capital. He urges residents to embrace the act of good citizenship by calling government's attention to areas of lapses.
A lot has happened this year, 2025, in terms of land development in the FCT. From the revocation of over 4,000 land titles due to the non-payment of ground rent for over 40 years to the demolition of shanties suspected to harbor criminal elements, among others. Well, on this week's interview segment, we'll be speaking with one of the persons saddled with the responsibility of ensuring seamless land development in the FCT. Do stay with us. Mr. Mukhtar Galadima, Director, Development Control, FCDA, thank you so much for joining us on Dateline.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. The FCTA has actually embarked on a series of project commissioning and flag-offs and all of that. How has that been for you, though?
is something that I can say is long been awaited, because I am seeing somebody who is now directly implementing or executing certain aspects of the Abuja master plan. Now you can see the connection and connectivity, the network of roads now coming out, which is movement of goods and services as well as people. So it's something laudable. It's long been awaited. When you look at the trajectory of the implementation of the Abuja master plan, particularly as regards to the provision of infrastructure, facilities, and services, you can see there was a gap between the last administrator that made huge remarks as regards to the provision of infrastructure facilities and the present administration. So it's something laudable and commendable.
All right. Speaking on infrastructure, there have been concerns from the FCDA about residents defaulting on the land use, of the FCDA. And in fact, the minister set up a committee to look into this, thoroughly investigate, and you chaired that committee.
Yes.
Can you tell us more about this? Have any new thing come out of it yet?
Yeah, thank you. You see, in the course of implementing a plan, not only a master plan, but a plan, definitely there are certain issues, or there are certain times and places there may be deviations. Why deviations? Because it's something that is futuristic. You never anticipated certain things to happen, but it happens. So in the case of what we are going through in the Abuja, particularly as regards to the issue of land use conversion, yeah, it has started a long time ago. I recall vividly, I think in 2001, there was an international conference on the need to review the Abuja master plan. Subsequently, in 2004, the then administration set up, engaged some consultants that review certain aspects of the Abuja master plan, but these things were not concluded. So, and these changes are taking place on a daily basis. So what the current administration did is to finalize this conversion process. That is why our committee was set up to review, in tune with the reality, the need to convert these land uses from what they were initially designated for, that is residential mostly, to existing uses. And the committee is sat, we moved around, we undertook a literature review, and then we came up with a recommendation which the Honorable Minister approved. And it gave us a 30-day working gap to see that those that have complied or not. Well, thank God they are complying, but it's not appreciable.
Okay,
yes.
Like how many positive feedbacks have you gotten so far?
The percentage is negligible, but let's say just 10%. So what we are waiting now for, after the process of the flagging of activities, we are going to report back to the Honorable Minister the next line of action.
Okay.
Yes.
10% from like how many buildings, properties?
No, we have about 300 properties that are
defaulted,
being converted.
Okay.
Yes. So for them to complete the process of conversion, because one, you have to pay the penalty fee.
Of how much? 5
million naira. And then based on the market value of that property, you have to pay 7.5% of that value, which in land economics, we term it as land value capture. So expectedly, some are complying, some are happy because now we're giving the new title. And we're also reviewing their development perspective, what I mean, building control in terms of height, in terms of land uses, etc., etc. So that is an incentive because you have used this property for over 30 years. Now, the FCT administration is giving you a fresh 99 years. So you can see that incentive is something that is commendable.
Okay, I know you said 5 million on one hand and then 7.5%.
Yes, the 5 million is penalty fee.
Yeah, but the 7.5% is also going to be monetary value.
Yeah.
For the cost of the building. Is
yes.
that not too much? A bit too much?
It's not much. It's not much. Because already you are operating in default. So that penalty for defaulting is what we charge as that's 5 million naira. But the 7.5 is the value of that property. Because now you are getting a new value entirely, a new use of your property. So that's why we are charging that 7.5, which I refer to as land value capture.
You've also been part of the Operation Sweep Abuja of miscreants, beggars, and all of that. Is that still ongoing?
Yeah, it's ongoing. It's ongoing, but you see, at a point in time, you have to retreat and re-strategize. Okay. Because unlike before, that we just clear and go. Now, when we clear, we try to take possession of that area that we've cleared. And then some of these things, you don't just do it in isolation. You need to talk to community leaders, respective stakeholders. How do we sustain this? Take the case of a MAP Global Estate around Karsana, where we cleared a large expanse of land of these miscreants. So we have to go into discussion with resident association, how we can sustain that area. Maybe what we are thinking now is to come up with, even if it is a temporary usage, but in an orderly manner. Particularly those that have this petty trading and other informal activities, how do we organize them in an orderly manner, such a way that we can maintain what we want, that is the sanity of that area, as well as security of the people around that area. So that's why this one is different, but the activity is still ongoing.
Oh, okay. But some owners of these properties have actually come out to say that they're not defaulting in any way. And just yesterday, the FCDA demolished a garden in Maitama district, CM Garden.
CM Garden?
Yeah.
Where is it located?
Maitama.
Okay.
And then the owners of that property have actually come out to say that they didn't default. They've been there for over 15 years. And it's a garden, green areas and all of that. And they've called out the FCDA for carrying out this demolition as illegal.
Okay.
How do you react to that?
I think in one of the interviews I had granted to one of the media houses, I made it clear that the FCDA administration has withdrawn all allocations granted to owners of these parks. You see, sometimes people don't read terms and conditions attached to some of these papers or license.
So we made it abundant. Yes. All parks in the FCDA.
All parks
have been withdrawn.
Yes. Said it. And they were directed to submit their documents to Department of Land Administration for review. But for now, all parks have been withdrawn.
Why is that? Why was the decision made?
Just like I said, people need to go back to their terms and conditions of allocation or license giving them this. You and I are living witnesses to what is happening in some of these parks. Now they have been overtaken by, what do you call it, car mats. Some of them have been overtaken by other commercial activities. Some of them are even being used for as a dump site. So there's need to review. When you have a park, okay, submit your document. Where are you operating? I'm operating at Jahi. Okay, a team will go and visit, yes, whether this park is truly operating as a park or otherwise. That's why they were asked to submit their documents to the Department of Parks and Recreation. A committee is set up to look at their submission.
So some owners are still defaulting?
Yes.
They haven't submitted it?
Well, I don't know, because I'm not in charge of data verification.
Thank you so much for staying tuned. As we continue the interview segment, my guest goes further to clarify some controversies surrounding the allocation of land on green areas, plus he hints on a new software currently being worked on to help developers seamlessly apply for building approvals. There was this protest that happened last week. A colleague of mine covered that event, and then they said the FCDA granted license to some developers to build on a green area in Wuse Zone 6.
Yeah, I was not in the office, but I was informed that some people came in protesting the development that is ongoing in Zone 6 on green area. Thanks for this opportunity. I want to make some clarifications as regards to green areas in Abuja. There are two types of green areas, which I can term as one as restrictive green area, and then the non-restrictive. The restrictive green area, which I can further define as those spaces that have been designated for recreational purposes in the plan. And then there are other green areas that are just being designated as undevelopable areas. Those restricted green areas for recreational purpose are not supposed to be tampered with. They are not supposed to be tampered with because they were designated for certain purpose that will enhance the living and welfare of the people. But that undevelopable green, which is left open, cause for concern. Somebody will argue that, okay, you say it's undevelopable, maybe in terms of the terrain, maybe in terms of the facilities and services that have been provided under such green, maybe it's a natural feature such as stream courses, all this. And then when you have look at the land use plan of phase 1, it made a generous provision of some of these areas that, having even defined the area that you run the facilities and services underground, then there are ample of open spaces which we need to have planned for and managed, but left unchecked, ultimately becoming ungoverned spaces.
Okay.
You recall, it was a terrible nightmare to drive along national mosques at a certain point in time of the night because of such open green area. People have been attacked, people have been killed on such areas. So what happened in Zone 6 is development in some of this undevelopable green. And by the time I tell you history about some of this development in the city, you see that most of the developments that have come sometime out of exigencies and expediency could be on green areas. So that's why I say something that maybe it demands maybe a longer time to discuss this, because these are issues. Yeah, they came. And the claim was that the development is on sewer line, which no, it's not.
Yeah, because they said it's affecting the
It's
water.
not, because we have seen the drawing, we assessed the drawing, we advised the developer that this corridor, there are certain facilities and services that have been provided. You have to observe certain setbacks. If you insist on development, you have to observe certain setbacks, which they have agreed. And we are monitoring the development.
Okay.
Yes.
So
to make sure that the development is not infringing on the underground facilities. Yes.
Okay, but the occupants there, you know, they're the ones that live there, and they're the ones that actually get to use this water and all of that. And they've come out to say that this water this building is actually affecting the water that they use.
In what way? You can see it's a natural stream flowing. Nobody is stopping the flow of the stream. Nobody is stopping the flow of the stream. You can go and testify. The stream is still flowing, and there is a reasonable setback which we have insisted that must be given for the water to flow. Yes.
All right. Speaking of the master plan of the FCT, is this still in works that they would review that and launch a new one for the FCT? Because I know the minister mentioned that you know, they're working to get a new master plan for the FCT.
You see, the master plan document, ideally, particularly the Abuja master plan, ideally supposed to have been reviewed every five years, because of what I have said in the beginning, unforeseen circumstances in terms of demography, in terms of economy, in terms of technology, etc., etc. When the master plan of Abuja was prepared, that was around 1979, the Nigerian economy was something else, buoyant. The population was not as much as this. The technology was not as benefiting as it is today. Even the security architecture of Nigeria was something else. But today, looking at the reality, you see there is every need to review the Abuja master plan. When we talk about the review of Abuja master plan, we're looking at, okay, things that were not incorporated before, now they are already existing. Let me give you another example. The initial concept of the master plan was the city's development should be bounded by this ring road, one, by this outer northern expressway and outer southern expressway, honest or sex. But you can see today, where you are sitting today is beyond that outer southern expressway. So which means when we are reviewing the master plan, we have to take care of your own interests because of the new development that has come up, and then maybe we can now come up with new definite boundary of the federal capital city.
But why was the review stalled for this long?
You can ask that question again, because every administration has its own policy, philosophy, principles, and style. All those previous ones, that's why I told you, El-Rufai made effort by organizing international conference on the need to review master plan, and he also engaged consultants to review components of the master plan. Subsequently, I think Japanese International Cooperation Agency also made effort to come in and also review. So which means the review has been ongoing, but in piecemeal and not in that ceremonial perspective.
Okay.
Yes, but it has been going in piecemeal. So what the current administration is trying to do is to make it grand, just like what we have done now. It's an aspect of the review of the master plan. Okay. Yeah.
All right. For the certificate of occupancy for some allottees who have failed to pay these fees, sometime this year, there was an enforcement exercise to seize and revoke these licenses, and it was stalled due to the intervention of President Bola Tinubu. But now, again, it is bid to recommence. When is that supposed to start?
A lot of things will come up after the flagging off session or the period of this flagging off events, because we have to go back. That is the aspect of the ground rent. Those that have failed to comply with the payment, definitely their properties stand revoked. It's revoked. So we're going back to the field to seal these promises, and then FCDA administration take over. From
that timeline till this time, how many allottees have complied?
Okay, no, data. You don't have that data. Is domiciled in the Department of Land Administration.
Okay.
Yes.
Your office has actually launched an automated system for developers to file their, what's it called, land applications. Is that still on, or is it finalized, or what is it currently?
Okay. What we've been able to achieve all this while is what we call the Development Control Information System, where we to downsize all activities pertaining to your submission or application for approval in terms of site assessment, in terms of building plan assessment, in terms of payment you've made, and then the conveyance of approval. What we are trying to do currently with our in-house team, we have developed a software or an app or platform that now, wherever you are in the world, you can submit your drawing, and then the officers automatically, wherever they are, they can process your drawing. And then you can even calculate what you are expected to government. All for us is to confirm whether that payment that you have to make is true or not.
Okay.
So soon, we are going to invite you people so that we can demonstrate to you what we have done so far, and then the Honourable Minister to commission it as part of his project.
All right. We most sincerely thank you, Mr. Mukhtar Galadima, the Director of Development Control, FCDA, for your time on the program.
It's always my pleasure to be with you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And that's where we anchor on the program today. I hope you got some insights from these interviews. Please don't forget to let us know the happenings in your neighborhood by using the platforms showing right on your screen. Thank you so much for watching. I am Kumbi Aboluade. Bye for now.